main conversation. We had this conversation last year, right around Halloween. Costumes, crazy stuff. Why not gimmicks? Why not have a conversation about gimmicks? And our focus then was primarily about our favorite gimmicks. And today's conversation is about the worst gimmicks ever. The worst gimmicks that we can think of that leave an impression in our brain, not because they're terrible, or ones that are pretty forgettable. But if we think about it, damn, how shitty was that? So this main conversation is all about the Gimmick Graveyard. So let's start with this, and I'll give it to Chris. What makes a wrestling gimmick fail? Do you feel like it's the performer? Is it the idea behind the performer because of creative? Is it the timing? A mix of everything? What do you think?
I think it's the idea, because Stardust, for as an example, like the performer, he's great. I think it was generally over, but I mean, he just hit a brick wall, and then obviously like the person himself was over it at that point. But I mean, it could be multiple things, I guess. You know what I mean?
What do you like? What do you think specifically? It could be multiple things. Do you have like an example? Is there? So you mentioned Stardust, for example, right?
Yeah.
Like what for? If you dissected Stardust's failure, what do you think was the reason it failed?
It was just too comic booky, I guess, for the liking of Cody Rhodes, and then just overall, booking decisions, right, for that specific character. So I mean, if you're gonna have Cody Rhodes, the person, kind of fighting tooth and nail with the idea, even though he's trying to make chicken shit into chicken salad, or however that kind of goes,
Mhm.
it's gonna hit a brick wall.
Yeah. David, what do you think? What makes a wrestling gimmick fail?
So are we thinking like, man, that was terrible and that guy had a job for 9 months? Or are we thinking, damn, that was terrible, that was fast?
Dealer's choice.
All right. That was terrible and that was fast.
Yeah.
Shockmaster, who flopped his debut
Yeah.
by tripping over a wall and then chasing down his helmet.
Yes. Yes. Why? So
I think that was
that failed because
performative.
yeah. So that failed because out of the gate, you look like a fool, right?
Right.
All
And
right. Well,
then like
how about the ones that last like like
Oz.
I guess Stardust lasted like what 3 years, something like that. 2. It lasted longer than it should have been.
Yeah.
But let's say like even 9 months, 8 months, whatever. Gobbledy Gooker pops up multiple times. You know what I mean? So how about for those? What makes them fail?
I think I'll even use what was that tag team that was like greasers in like the late 2000s for
Oh,
SmackDown?
Deuce and
Deuce and
Domino?
Domino.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I forgot about those guys.
Domino.
See, like those are those. Now we just love how terrible they were type gimmicks, and
Yeah.
I think like where those fail is that they'd never connect, but like the performers might be okay or above average, so they're good workers. They just never connect.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just nothing about them that connects, and I think that's like kind of like a Gimmick Graveyard, just like no connection whatsoever. Like who in the I mean, other than us having like other than the movie Grease, what do we like? What other like cultural relevance would that have to most people?
Yeah, other
Like
than Vince's
you know what I mean?
fascination. Yeah. Yeah, I mean like I remember when I mean like this was that period where it was like the first 2 years I like really got back into wrestling where we would go to the live events and sort of like kind of time window. And I guess I was like I thought they were okay. Like I didn't think they were terrible. You know, I thought they had some kind of future, but you know, looking back, I
Like,
guess
oh
it
man,
was
those
pretty.
greasers,
Yeah, I mean,
future world champs.
yeah, I mean, it was pretty limited in terms of
I think they
success.
were
I'll
tag
say that.
champs once.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they were. Yeah, and they had Cherry. They had like the girl who's roller skating, and you know,
Who wasn't a
passing out.
SmackDown tag champ around that time?
I mean, that's true. I mean, like that's the period where like tag team championships were like it didn't matter. I
That's
guess.
a period of time in SmackDown where it's like Rey Mysterio looked to his left and he'd be like, "You're my tag partner. We're gonna win the
Yeah,
belts." And
exactly.
then
And not only SmackDown, Raw too. I mean, like they both like
right,
tag teams were non-existent. It was all about like the main event wrestlers. You know, so didn't do them any favors. But let's see, Andre. So, what do you think? What makes a wrestling? Next question.
I'm sorry, what?
What makes a wrestling gimmick fail, in your opinion?
Oh. Um, well, I would say with like I mean, if it's like a bad concept, it's just not gonna work. I don't think like even if you have a really talented wrestler behind whatever the gimmick is, it's just not gonna. If it's just not gonna resonate, and you try to keep pressuring or pushing it out into people, and it's just not going, that's a really bad idea. I mean, like, what you had like, who was Max Moon? That was Conan, right?
yeah,
Yeah, that was a
Yes.
fail. I didn't. I know
Space
that was a
Fighter.
yeah.
Buzz
There's like,
Lightyear.
there's like fireworks shooting out of his like arms and stuff. It
Yeah.
was kind of.
Yeah.
They really, yeah. I think like a failing wrestling gimmick is just something that's just not gonna. I don't know. It's just. I don't know. I guess something that just doesn't resonate with the crowd or resonate with the universe. You know, because the WWE universe will tell them right away, like, "Hey, this kind of sucks." You know.
Yeah. Sometimes
What's that?
sometimes they do put up with slop, but then your attendance record kind of reflects the lack of interest, even if it
Yeah.
seems like you know there's some interest in there. But yeah, you did mention Max Moon. What have you seen any of his matches with Max Moon as a
Not
character?
necessarily, but whenever I saw like bad gimmicks, that was one of the main ones that would always come up because like WWE spent so much money on that outfit alone. And I guess like he didn't want to do it either. And like Vince was like literally putting him in it and like go out there now. And he was talking about how he like first got had to do it and stuff. And I was like, oh my God. It looked bad, it sounds bad. It's just like, you obviously you have to experiment. You have to try different things, and if they're outlandish and stuff, and obviously a lot of them won't hit. But what makes it bad? I mean, some of them are some of them you just look at, you just know it's bad, you know. So it's
Yeah,
hard
I
to
mean, some
say.
of them
Like,
it's like Vince McMahon is in his own creative
oh, yeah.
bubble, and like it felt like for me, it felt like people were afraid of telling him, no, this is a bad idea, and they just let him go ham
I
on a
can
lot
see
of
that.
things. And we talked in the last episode, I think, a bad gimmick. And I think David, there was someone like in that same era. It might have been WCW. But yes, beaver cleavage was not a good gimmick.
What?
A creepy like 1950s. I think the implication was that this adult guy who was supposed to be like Leave It to Beaver likes his mom or thinks she's hot or something like that. So there's some incest implied.
Lord.
And this is like what, late 90s. It's got to be like Attitude Era levels. So a gimmick that didn't work really well. And there's a whole list of that I had listed out.
The Mexicals. That was a
Yeah.
bad one.
Oh, I mean the Mexicals. Yeah. I mean, I know we had that conversation. Were they the ones that were on the line?
Yes, they're the ones on the
Yeah,
lawnmower.
they're the ones on the lawnmowers. So
Those
I
were
know
the guys.
yeah, I was listening to our last conversation back in October, and that was one that we brought up, but we didn't really dive too much into it. And I was curious. I don't know, David, because I've played with them on SmackDown versus Raw and that kind of stuff. I don't know if they actually still existed when I started watching. for the Mexicals. Do you remember the Mexicals when you were watching on Raw and SmackDown?
I remember them a little bit. I didn't watch much of them. Like it's kind of a hard watch after like me being the kid I was, being able to watch like Super Crazy in ECW, or even like Juventud and Psychosis in WCW, where they're putting on great matches every night, and then it's like, oh, all right, like they're still good wrestlers and they still were entertaining, but like that was pretty limited in the entertainment factor outside of the ring.
Yeah, here's a fucking lawnmower.
Juan Deers.
Start driving on a lawnmower.
Juan Deers.
They legit did that.
That is crazy work, I gotta say. Like, just really thinking about it, it's like, look, 2 Hispanic guys on lawnmower.
3.
Like 3 Hispanic guys on lawnmower. Totally normal.
I mean, that was the same time as Do-Rag Vince, so it's like,
yes, you're right. I mean,
the idea is not that far off.
And also Crime Time. Like this was Crime Time was like 2 years after
Crime Time.
Like you are two men of color, let's say that, who are a tag team, and your entrance is this white guy who basically announces like, yo, check your rollies and pop a 40. It's Crime Time. And then, I mean, like, I don't know how they felt about it. And Shad Gaspar, I mean, like, he was a great, like, I feel like they made him a great singles wrestler later on. And then for whatever reason, you know, creative didn't work out. And, you know, rest in power, of course, Shad. But yeah, I mean, as a tag team, it was not great, you know. Looking back, as wrestlers, they were cool. I thought that they were cool wrestlers, but if you take a step back in terms of like, you know, you got to pigeonhole them into, you know, that kind of gimmick. I feel like it's very limited in terms of the you know, moving on up in the main event and that kind of stuff. You kind of pigeonhole them into like same thing like for Stardust and people like that. A bad gimmick will not give you the ability to move on into the main event. So this one I'm kind of curious, because for me it is on the fence if it's a good gimmick or a bad gimmick, and that's in the case of the Boogeyman. Because the Boogeyman, when he first showed up, for me, I thought he was kind of cool. It felt like a new version of The Undertaker, where it's like kind of scary. He's got the clock, he's got the worms. But then it kind of felt pretty one note. You know what I mean? Like, I thought maybe they'd give him, I don't know if he's ever even held a belt or a championship, maybe a cruiserweight. I don't know. But Chris, what did you think of the Boogeyman when he debuted? Because I think it was around the time we started watching too.
It was like 07, 08 or something like that. Aesthetically cool. But yeah, I mean, like, he was just like a one-trick pony. Like, he would show up, do something freaky. You know, did he have matches? Like, did he actually have real matches?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, pretty limited move roster, I guess, right? But obviously, I guess forgettable, because the only thing that ever pops up in my mind when I think Boogeyman are just the spots where he's got the worms and he's like in some kind of a backstage segment or something like that. So his like more like horror-esque kind of stuff is more stands out more, which I mean, I guess was the point. Cool design, poorly executed, I guess I would say. Like, you know, again, just like with Stardust, a lot of these characters just hit a brick wall because there's just no room to grow outside of that specifically. Which is, on the other hand, which is fine, because the roster itself needs, you know, different kinds of people. Not everybody can be main event people. I was listening to me and David were listening to the All In Media Scrum, and Tony Khan was essentially saying something about Adam Cole but he was saying he was likening it to like a team, and some people need to be on the bench and stuff like that, or have different roles on the roster, or something to that nature, and that kind of resonated. So yeah, it makes sense.
What did that mean for Adam Cole?
Oh, he was talking about his willingness to just be wherever he was on the card, whether that was like being a contender, you know, like working the lower card, working a tag team.
Oh, yeah.
Like whatever he needed out of Adam Cole is what he got out of Adam Cole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like Natalia kind of, I feel like Natty fits that kind of mold for like when we talk about Adam Cole, because I feel like she has been very reliable, and there are periods in her career where there is gimmick attached to her that wasn't great. Like there was this whole period of her just having a farting gimmick. Do any of you remember that? Where she just kept. So this was like, I think it was around the same time when she was having a romantic like relationship with the Great Khali, because they couldn't give her anything to do. And around the same time, for whatever reason, Vince thought it'd be the funniest thing if just like kept like farting in matches or in backstage segments. And I mean, come on, like, like that's a waste of her talent, and it just yeah, like it's like giving Stardust to a Cody Rhodes. Like you're making a Neidhart, a Hart Foundation, a Hart family member, Hart gimmick. Like I feel like that just kind of speaks for itself. Yeah, exactly, Neidfart. That's probably what he probably just like, oh, what rhymes with heart? Fart. Let's give you a fart. Like,
well, I mean, we kind of learned he's into that.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I guess so. I guess he was just like living out his fantasies on camera. But yeah, I mean, like like Natalia, who is recently kind of trying to reinvent herself outside of WWE by going to like not GCW, or maybe it was GCW. Which
yeah,
one?
Bloodsport's part of GCW.
Bloodsport's GCW. So she's trying to be like, she calls herself the Boat, which is I think is kind of a cool gimmick, because people say the GOAT, greatest of all time. She calls herself the best of all time. I think that's what Boat means. And she is trying to like just actually be like a badass. Like she knows how to do like MMA dungeon style, like actual like wrestling fighting stuff. And she's trying to bring it into her current character, but for whatever reason, like creative just doesn't have something for her right now. So she's kind of stuck with oh my god, why did I forget her name? And
Maxine.
the Alpha Maxine, thank you. I was like something. Brain fart. Speaking of farts, with Maxine. So like they're a tag team. Thinking maybe they'll try and take that kind of like bad character and just have her turn into Maxine, because she's being like this nice person. So I just want her to like transplant that character that she's doing in the indies onto this current thing. But yeah, bad gimmick, farting gimmick. And that's around the same time as like Mickey James, who had like the Piggy James. I don't know if it was necessarily a gimmick, but when she was feuding with Michelle McCool and Layla, they were making her this, this specific kind of character, because apparently she was overweight, even though if you looked at it, I'm like, she is not overweight at all. I don't know what the hell you guys are talking about. So like just another like weird, poorly timed character. Now I guess I want to ask you guys about Kerwin White, who was a character that was, I think, was it only in 2005, David? Chavo Guerrero was Kerwin White? I think it was just
Yeah, I believe so.
I don't even think it lasted a whole year, but basically it's Chavo Guerrero, who had bleach blonde hair, and he is basically like impersonating like a stereotypical white guy. He was golfing. He had a sweater wrapped around his neck, and his catchphrase was, "If it ain't white, it ain't right." So
I didn't know that part. I saw like I've seen like clips of him in the sweater and stuff and acting with the blonde hair, but I didn't know that part though. Wow, damn.
Yeah. This is 2005. So
Also
I mean, like,
leading to Durag Vince.
yeah, exactly. This is like all around that same period. I think
True.
Vince was like, I don't know, just
His Durag was on too
Mein
tight.
Kampf or something. Yeah, Durag was on too tight. Like he was churning these out in like the 2005, 2007. So he's like, yeah, it'd be funny. I mean, I guess we're laughing, but so mission accomplished. But I mean, like, oh
All the
my
different
God,
times.
that'd be so like imagine like you're like, oh, I love watching. Then you put on like SmackDown or Raw or whatever, and shit's playing. You know what I mean? Like, how do you explain like why you enjoy watching wrestling? Oh, man.
Like, oh yeah, this is my favorite part. But
Yeah.
Like that's like if I ever encounter any kind of like troll people on on the internet and they're like talking about, oh, this is bad wrestling, I'm like, you people have no idea how spoiled like, wrestling fans are right now. Like if you compare like all these gimmicks that we're talking about, like y'all got it good, man.
Yeah, I started watching wrestling when I was in the fucking trenches, when you're like trying to enjoy the product, because like there wasn't much there, and like a lot you really cling on to like the main event and kind of like I thought, Vince blowing himself up in a limousine was interesting, and then other things happened. And then nothing came out of that, and there was always like these kind of stories where it's like, oh, Mr. Kennedy might be like Vince's son or something like, oh, something interesting is going to happen, and then nothing comes of it. And then for me it was always like this carrot and stick thing where like something interesting is about to happen, and then it's literally like months of crap, and it just kept happening until something cool happens. That's why that CM Punk pipe bomb thing was so powerful, because like you really literally like tolerated like 6, 7, 8 years of like crap. So like hearing and seeing that kind of story was like manna, or like a desert of shitty stories.
And then it was good for a year, and then it was back to baloney for the next.
You're like, we'll try it, I guess. It's like, all right, y'all happy? Back to the bullshit.
Yeah. And during one of those era, or during that period, I mean, there were some. We already talked about Hornswoggle in the past conversation. I don't know if there was anything else we wanted to pull out of the Hornswoggle conversation, but I think around that same period, I was just talking about this during our commentary on Evolution, was the Funkadactyls with like, it was Brodus Clay, I think, was he was the wrestler. Like he had like this vignette that made him look like a badass. And I mean, I think the guy sucks now purely based on his external stuff. Now he's like a regular Fox News host, but Brodus Clay, like he had these vignettes, and he was like trying to be a badass or whatever, and then he's like debuts next week, and then he shows up in like sparkly pants, a red fedora, and Funkadactyls, and he's fucking the Funkasaurus. Like he comes out like dancing, and this is like the kind of stuff like Vince was doing with like all these guys, like Karrion Kross was another one we talked about before, where it's like they come out from like a previous promotion, or they get built up somewhere else, and then everything else that you do going into the WWE pipeline, it disappears, and now you're a new person. You've never met or heard any of these other people before, and we're all meant to be stupid and think that nothing that happened previously happened, which, like, really think about that when we were watching during that era. Like, that's crazy shit. Like, think about how different it is now, where like literally they're talking about TNA, they're talking about New Japan, they're talking about their entire history on air. Like Michael Cole is like willingly saying this without being worried that he's gonna get like screamed and choked out by Vince McMahon afterwards because he let New Japan slip out of his mouth. Like, I mean, it's such a night and day thing. So like Chris, to your point, people who are complaining about this literally do not know how it was like even 10 years ago, It's crazy.
Literally spoiled. Like just like I think it's just too good. It's just so much dopamine. They're like, I don't even know what to
I
do
need
with all
more.
this. So
Yeah.
more.
I mean, I think it's just like trying to find something to complain because I think now it's like you are moving the goalpost. Now it is good, but now you're picking apart like the good stuff, like the great stuff from the good stuff. And now there's a new, like there's always something to complain about, So you got to have conversations, I guess, and debates. So now you got to debate about like the solid stuff that's happening with the great stuff and then complain about that. So, I mean, I guess that happened. I guess nobody was around for the Gobbledy Gooker. So, of course, that was like a teaser, I think, for Survivor Series. And there was this giant egg that kind of sitting there and they were waiting for that shit to hatch. And then it comes out and it's some guy in a turkey costume. I mean, I think when I think of failed gimmicks, that's probably like the logo for like terrible failed gimmicks. But like, was that the point of it? Like, do you feel like was that an attempt at being a wrestler? I don't know how I would like categorize the Goblin. You know what I mean? Like, was
I
that just
still
like a
put
one-off
Shockmaster
kids
over that.
thing? Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. Maybe not Gobbledy Gooker, maybe the Shockmaster, but are there any like Gimmick Graveyard characters that you actually secretly liked or thought were underrated? Kind of like how I said, like, I kind of like the Boogeyman, even though I feel like most people would think in general it's probably a shitty character. Is there anyone in your mind that was probably shitty that you kind of secretly liked?
The
I kinda
Hurricane.
did. Oh yeah.
The Hurricane's not. That wasn't. Do you think that was a shitty gimmick?
I mean, I didn't think he was shitty, but like he was a silly character.
Mm-hmm.
Does that
I guess
count?
He was
True,
over
I
the
guess-
stands too.
I guess maybe he did have like limitations, like how far can the Hurricane go? Kind of like what was oh my god, what the hell was her name? She's currently in the Wyatt family, Wyatt Six. She had a character Ash, Nikki Ash, I think. She was also kind of like a superhero character, right?
Yeah.
Almost a superhero.
Yeah, that was the gimmick, right? Almost a superhero. So, like
Oh,
my thought there
yeah.
was kind of like that was similar to the Hurricane, and I feel like you can't really take that seriously. I don't think it can go when you have that kind of character. You know what I mean? Like maybe you could, but I just feel like you can't be like a Charlotte Flair or a Mercedes if you are looking like that with that kind of gimmick. You know what I mean? Like Matt, like it's not a masked wrestler. Like it's different from luchador because she's not trying to be a luchador. You know what I mean? Like it's a different thing. So yeah, I guess like Chris, what do you think? So you said the Hurricane. Is that your like gimmick graveyard character you secretly liked? Is there anyone else? I feel like Hurricane at least had some success with it too. You know.
Yeah. Come back to me. But yeah, I mean, I would say I mean,
Big Dick
Hurricane was my
Johnson?
Oh yeah.
Forgot about that.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Spirit
Like, is that
Squad.
I thought the Spirit Squad was good as a unit. And again, like it just felt like a gag, like a running gag. And it didn't seem like there was an actual plan for them to be like catapulted into anything. They just jokes. And of course, like a handful of them ended up becoming single stars. Of course, Dolph Ziggler was like famous one who came out of it. I think Kenny Dykstra was another one who was there
For a
for a
little
little bit. Yeah, he was like a single star for a little bit, and then he got the. So
I
Dolph
think he
Ziggler
works
was basically
backstage.
Kenny Dykstra, really?
He did for a while. I know that's for sure.
I was a Eugene fan, I must say.
Oh yes, yeah.
Oh, wow.
We had that conversation before about Eugene. I mean, it is. I mean, it is absolutely problematic. I mean, the guy is completely I don't want to say functioning because people are functioning, but he is not a neurodivergent individual. I'll say that. And he's portraying someone who is. And, like I said before, crayons with his letters spelled backwards on the Tron.
That theme song slapped,
airplane.
though. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. He had the airplane. You said, what did you say, David? They were like making sure he doesn't like ramp or something when he's doing the airplane. I forgot who. But yeah, like that would not fly in today's wrestling at all. Absolutely not.
Festus.
Man. Oh yeah, Festus. Yeah, that's another one. Like that was crazy work too. And that was like 2007, 2008. Biscuits and gravy.
Yes.
Didn't Snitsky turn into like a foot guy?
Yeah. Is this after It Wasn't My Fault, or I think it might have been around
It was
when he like
fault.
kicked that baby into the crowd.
Not my BB.
That rubber BB. Oh man. Okay, so let me ask you guys this as we kind of WWE, of course, WCW and WCW, and let's say AEW too, they all have gimmick flops. Do you think one company was more guilty than pushing bizarre ideas that didn't land? Because I'm gonna say Vince definitely had, I think, on that shit.
I
takes
think
the
that's going to be
cake.
the general consensus. Honestly, I think everyone's going to be like, "Yeah, no, the WWE hands down under Vince's regime."
WCW had some pretty bad ones in the early '90s.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, you had Oz
And the
Yeti?
early 2000s with Russo. You can't forget about Fat Chick Thriller
No.
Mike Awesome.
Oh
yeah.
man,
Rest in
no,
peace.
I forgot about that. Yeah. Holy shit.
Rest in peace, Mike Awesome. He didn't deserve that.
No, sir.
Like, there's a lot of 2000s WCW that is like,
That's true.
like,
That
hey,
was
the guy
like
from Jerry
Winter.
Springer wrote this. What do you think? Oh yeah, duh.
Exactly. Jesus, no kidding.
Like, oh my god, like we got to make a post like to like prove that point, like about like wrestling then, wrestling now. Like so
Oh
we
my
got to
God.
do something like that where it's just like,
Yeah, just
all
something
right.
with cold water on, like, you guys are playing.
Mhm.
Okay, so wait, was the Yeti WWE or WCW? Or was it an ECW character? The Yeti. Bear hugged Hulk Hogan, so it would have to have been.
The Yeti
I think it was
was WCW.
Yeah. So I
The
mean, like,
Yeti,
yeah, like
come on, me.
you said, to your point, they also had their like Arachnaman. Was Mantaur? Mantaur was
WWE.
yeah.
Beast
Mantaur
Mordos.
Yeah, pretty much.
Basically like Evolution 1.
Stupid Pokemon.
Yeah.
He was pretty badass. I don't know what you're talking about.
Mantaur is like Charmander. Beast Mortos, I think, is our figure out. Charmeleon.
Chameleonaire.
I got you a chameleon, son.
Oh man. Yeah, I mean, they also had Arachnaman. Mordecai. So he was like an anti-Undertaker, kind of. I mean, that was another WWE thing, right?
Yeah.
Waylon Mercy was kind of like early version of Bray Wyatt. That didn't work out. Kizarny, I mean, that's another WWE speak, of course. And he only showed up. I feel like,
was he the pirate guy? Who was the pirate guy?
Paul Burchill.
Yeah, that guy was badass. I like that guy. Or Jimmy Wang Yang. Woo!
Yeah,
Asian redneck.
Oh
Hell
yeah,
yeah.
Jimmy Wang Yang. Yeah, I mean like that. I mean, I think objectively that wasn't, but I did enjoy him at first. So like that's like a bad gimmick that I actually enjoy.
Oh yeah.
What's that one?
Jamie Noble.
Jamie Noble, yeah.
Jamie Noble was all like trailer trash or something.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah.
I mean, I also appreciated Jamie Noble too. I thought good, even
That
though
one
it's,
gimmick where the guy would just party all the time and he had a whole like
oh, the
people who-
Rosebuds. Adam
yeah,
Cole.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Also
kinda-
not. I mean, like also not a great game. Like if if we're just thinking about like, all right, how shit take us? It's probably not going to go that far. But I kind of enjoyed it. You know, like it.
No Way Jose.
No Way Jose is another one. Oh, let me ask you guys this: like, for that's not an AEW one, is it? No.
What?
No Way Jose.
No, that was NXT/WWE
Yeah.
in like 14-15.
Is there an AEW? Can you think of a gimmick in AEW that didn't go well? Hologram, I guess. But like, is there one?
Nah,
like, from
hologram's
AEW?
fine.
Is there one in AEW that hasn't
Abaddon.
worked?
Nah, she was okay.
I say Tony buries them pretty quick from our memory when they come out.
Yeah. I guess there wasn't too many in AEW.
There's there. They have to be there. They're there.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I just can't think of it right now.
They're buried away.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I mentioned or David, you made a joke of it. The Goon, which I
Yes.
think in the 90s didn't work, but I think in today's like lexicon of words that we use in our
That'd be hilarious.
guys, that would be hilarious because
He should look
people
like a
use the word
wrestling
goon.
fan.
Yes, exactly. Like you don't do hockey and you're not a,
Uh-oh.
but it's still
Yeah.
the same guy called the Goon. And that would be kind of funny.
They should just have like the camera when he comes out, like just like zoom in on a random wrestling fan in the crowd, and then just put the Goon under it. But it's always somebody different.
Yeah, he comes out like when it's not like televised, and they be like, "All right, which one are you, Gooner?" Like that, they have the Kiss Cam and the DX camera. They got to
Goon Cam.
the Goon Cam.
Oh, we're about to get flagged.
All right. Well, let me wrap it. I'm not gonna end it, but so like the three-man
Bret Hart.
Huh?
Save us, Bret Hart.
Bret Hart.
There you go. Fixed.
We're good.
Bret Hart? Yeah.
Yeah.
So three-man band, like I feel like as a gimmick, it
Terrible.
was clearly terrible. It wasn't great, but I feel like I kind of like would love to see them back together, like having them
Good soup.
like having them packaged differently would be kind of fun. Like if they were still three-man band, I don't know, like having that history, because you know how crazy and stupid it is, but now taking them all three seriously, but having like the theme song, I think I would get a kick out of that shit. And I think they were just at, was it Ginger's wedding?
Yep.
I think it was at Ginger Mahal's wedding, but they did like a little reunion three-man band. Like they have a special place in their heart for 3MB. And I do too. And of course they were jobbers. They were comedy jobbers. You weren't supposed to take them seriously. And of course, I mean, I think
Great performers.
Yeah, great performers, great wrestlers. I mean, Jinder got his WWE Championship run for that for a little bit. I mean, people were giving him shit, but whatever. And Drew McIntyre, of course, became
Heath Slater has a
whole new
family.
character, and Heath Slater has a family. But it's one of those gimmicks that I think probably belong in, but I still appreciate it and appreciate the three wrestlers in it. But I think that is a wrap for this episode of the Chi-Town Shoot podcast. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, rate us, and leave your feedback. Tune in next time for more Wrestling Madness. Until then, keep marking out.